Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom Worth Jr. and today I wanted to talk a little bit about Zelensky's visit to Madrid, to the Guernica painting specifically, and about Putin and about Trump and about Picasso and 1937 and fascism and not helping people when they need help when under attack from authoritarian regimes. All of that in just 10 minutes or so, most likely. April 26, 1937, a little Basque town in the north coast of Spain. This is during the Spanish Civil War, which a lot of people don't know enough about, I'm gathering, including myself, until more recently this summer with a trip there. But there was, in 1937, end of April, this was a training ground for Hitler's war machine. There was also assistance from Mussolini's Italian fascist regime, but Hitler brought the big guns. He brought the Luftwaffe, air terror, basically. Never before had we seen incendiary carpet bombing of civilian populations. And that's what Hitler was trying to test out for his coming blitzkrieg across Europe. But this was a couple years before that started. So you had this little town of about 5,000 people in the Basque Country in the north of Spain near the coast. And Hitler's and Mussolini's air forces bombed the town. So this was a Republican-controlled town. The Republicans were the democratically elected new government of Spain back then, but Francisco Franco did not want that. He wanted to be the dictator himself. So he wanted to forcibly overthrow the government of Spain, the democratically elected government of Spain. So he brought his army in. He quickly gained control of a good part of the country, but not all of it. And Hitler and Mussolini said, you know what, buddy, we will help you out. The more fascist regimes, the better. The more authoritarian dictatorships, the better. So that's what they did. Hitler sent his airplanes, his bombs. They ostensibly were bombing the bridges and the roads that the Republicans were going to retreat on, the Republican forces. But they bombed a market. They did it at the busy time of day. Several hundred civilians were killed. These were incendiary bombs, so they would just burn everything. This was just terror, and the world was horrified. And the countries like the United States and Western Europe, who were not dictatorships, were hesitant to pick a side here. And because of that, the authoritarians won. FDR famously held back on sending any munitions to help the Republicans until it was too late. It was a disaster, and it was the front page news around the world, and Pablo Picasso saw this. So this attack happened on April 26, 1937. May 1st, 1937, Picasso, up in Paris, he was Spanish, but he was up in Paris at the time, famous at the time, and he took it upon himself to start. He saw these photographs in black and white on the newspapers, couldn't believe it, was just beside himself, and just started work on this painting. And he did it in about 35 days, they say. It's basically the month of May when this attack took place on April 26th. It was exhibited in Paris at the International Expo that year, and there were other anti-war things exhibited there. And it was a sensation immediately. And it is huge. It's 25 feet wide, 11 feet tall, just this monumental work filled with symbolism and emotion. He did it in black and white and gray like he saw in the photographs in the newspapers at the time. After the exhibition, he said he will not allow it to go to Spain until after Franco's gone. So Franco died in 1975. Finally, in 1981, it was sent back it was in MoMA in New York City all of that time, all those decades. So in 1981, they sent it to Madrid, where it is exhibited in the Reina Sofia Museum. That's where I saw it back in September. That's where Zelensky saw it on Tuesday with the Prime Minister of Spain, Pedro Sanchez. And he had his picture taken in front of it. Hey everyone, just wanted to let you know to please like the video if you like it and subscribe if you want to keep seeing things like this. So please like and subscribe if you want to. Thanks. It's really meaningful to Zelensky because he addressed the world back in April of 2022. This was a couple months after Putin's invasion started. And he said, here we are in April 2022, and back in April 1937, we had Guernica. And here we are still horrified, the world is supposedly horrified, that there could be a war of aggression in Europe, that civilians would be bombed, that there would be terror from the skies, from fighters, from bombers. Here it was all happening again 90 years later, 85 years later. And what's the world going to do about it? And the world has largely tried to help them. Trump is always trying to not help them. And from there, Zelensky is supposed to meet in Turkey with the U.S. Negotiator trying to negotiate a peace. That was supposed to take place yesterday, and it did not. Also with Erdogan of Turkey. It did not because supposedly the U.S. already had worked out a deal with Putin to just hand over Ukraine. Those were going to be the peace terms. Ukraine, you have to hand over the part of your country that Putin is currently in control of right now. And you can never stake another claim to it, and you have to reduce your military. You have to do all these unacceptable things. And this is supposedly the terms that Trump had agreed back channel with Putin on. And they were going to ambush Zelensky with this at this meeting in Turkey. So Zelensky said, okay, he let Erdogan know about this, and he got the other leaders of Europe to back him up and agree to be there with him if necessary. And then the U.S. negotiator said, you know what? Never mind. We're not going to just ambush just you, Zelensky, all by yourself. You have this show of force now. Of course, he didn't say all this, but the U.S. suddenly backed out at the last minute and just they weren't. The talks did not happen in Turkey yesterday as they were supposed to. So this is Zelensky being very much in touch with history, very much in touch with art, repeating the same mistakes of the past, trying to avoid that. And he made a point to take a look at the painting yesterday and have his photograph taken in front of it with the Prime Minister of Spain. And I was looking at some, and I saw this in an Associated Press article last night. That's what gave me the idea. Just a few days ago this week, I happened to get this book from the library. And it's a book that I saw when it came out, Spain in Our Hearts. It's from 2016. But I never did buy it. And I came across it in the library a few days ago. And I thought I'm kind of obsessed with Spain now and did want to learn more about the Spanish Civil War when I was over there. Still do. So just grabbed that book a few days ago and it was on my nightstand. And when I saw the article on the AP last night and that picture of Zelensky, it just, I don't know, it all kind of fell into my lap here. The thing about Zelensky being in touch with all of this and knowing what to do, he has a whole democratic world on his side. He's except for Donald Trump, right? He's never going to be on his side. Donald Trump's only going to try to ambush him and sabotage him and help out his buddy Putin. Well, in a video clip I saw of Zelensky about to walk in to meet with some members of the Spanish Parliament, there's a photo op, and just some people are walking in from outside into the doorway, and then they're going to stop and turn around in the doorway for some pictures. And Zelensky's walking in, and this little guy, I don't even know who he was. He may have been in the parliament, I don't know. Just looked like a bystander, was kind of behind Zelensky, kind of kind of walking in behind Zelensky, and Zelensky just felt him and noticed there was someone trying to squeeze by, and he just goes like this and looks at the guy and smiles, tries to make himself small so the guy can squeeze by him. And immediately I was reminded of that 2017 NATO incident with Trump, May 2017, so Trump's first term. And it's over there in Brussels. And there's this video. You should look it up on YouTube if you don't remember it. Hopefully you do. But it's Trump just walking in, and there's all these diplomats around. And he's just walking up, and there's just kind of a crowd of people. And he just puts his hand on the shoulder of this guy and just shoves him aside and walks in, and then just adjusts his tie and just stands there like who's in my way, and just shoves him aside, and then just goes like this, and he's ready for his photo. And you couldn't have two, and it turns out that was the prime minister of Montenegro. Who are we? Are we Trump, or are we Zelensky? Are we the guy who's just going to shove everyone out of the way and adjust our tie for our picture, or the guy who's going to be like, oh, excuse me, you need to get by? I think, is that the fundamental divide in our country? Because there's tens of millions of us, 100 million of us that are one way, and 100 million of us, hundreds of millions of us that are another way. And I'm thinking the divide at some level is as simple as that. Which guy are you? Which person are you? I don't know. It was just a very, when I saw that clip, just kind of trying to get some background on this, it just took me right back to 8.5 years ago. It's kind of hilarious. But love to see that with Zelensky. Love to see him trying to get the world to resist this authoritarian before it's too late. It's going on 4 years now. I don't know. Trump's been in office for about 10 months now. That's the longest 24 hours I've ever seen to end a conflict. But that's where we're at, I guess. Hope you all are having a good day, and we'll talk to you later.